Hello, I'm Vara,
And I'm Roxy.
and you're listening to VCR. Hey, Roxy, how are you?
Hello.
Uh, just my Miss Roxy Pizzazz over here being all pizzazzy.
Yeah.
She's so
Pizzazzy
pizzazzy.
name for a pizzazzy girl.
Hell yeah. Oh my God, which brings us to our topic. So today we watched a movie that it's been out for a while. Well, 2017 is when it came out, but I myself have never really thought about doing a show about it, and it kind of came up accidentally. Uh, but to me, it's just one of the most hysterical movies you can watch because it's all based on a true story. So to see
Yes,
this all unfold is
that's the
just,
part that gets me. Like, this
yeah,
is a true story. Like, what?
and it's just mind blowing.
You know, they say that fiction is stranger than reality or something like that. Or
Yeah,
no,
the
reality is
reality is
stranger than
stranger than
fiction. That's what it
fiction.
is. Reality
Yeah.
is fiction.
So it's absolutely
So,
brilliant. So today
let
we're,
me tell you.
yeah, today we're jumping into the 2017 film The Polka King, which is a Jack Black movie. I know some people are kind of on and off about Jack Black. I kind of like some of his stuff. I'm not gonna say I love
Yeah.
everything, but this is one of those movies that I can go back and watch all the time. And if I'm feeling in the dumps, I can put this on and make myself just feel better. Because it is such a trippy movie. And then it's one of those things where you can look at it and be like, at least I'm not that guy.
Jeez. No, really.
uh, but it's a trip. So the Polka King is following the life of a polka singer by the name of Jan Lewan. And
Jan
apparently one of
Lewan.
the running jokes is the way you can pronounce his name. Is it Jan
Is it
Lewan or
Jan
some or,
Lewan?
so it's part of the joke is him just saying, I don't know. It's whatever you want.
Whatever. However you want to say
That's
it.
what it is. But it really is about kind of like the American dream and then the rise to the American dream and then the
The
really
fall from the
the
American
fall of the
dream.
American dream. So what happens is Jan Lewan is a real person and he is
Mhm.
a real polka band leader and singer and whatever else he does. And apparently he just really wanted to come to America and make it big as a polka singer. And that wasn't exactly working, so he started to open up these little businesses like a Polish gift shop and, other things while also like working side jobs too, such as
Mhm.
pizza delivery guy and things like that, just
Wasn't
to
he like
kind
a
of
waste management guy too? Like,
yeah, like he was moving trash and everything. Like he was all over the place just trying to make,
mhm.
a living and trying to make things more successful. And he's gaining more and more steam with his polka music. However, he wants to get it bigger, better, like we all do here.
Right.
And so he decides after a while, his band members are starting to leave him and he doesn't know what to do because he can't really lose them. And really what it is he can't lose his best friend if you think about it. Mr.
Yeah.
Mickey Pizzazz, as he calls
Yes.
himself.
I said, I
Uh,
want to change my name.
I want to be
Nikki
Mickey
Pizzazz.
Pizzazz. So he doesn't want to lose his best friend, so he starts going off and he starts really what he does in reality is he's targeting elderly people who are retired and have a
Hmm.
pensions or some type of retirement thing. And he's telling them, "Hey, invest in my store and you're going to get some major returns here. Like the bank's giving you 3%. I can get you 12% on your returns, which financially, percentage wise, that's a huge fucking return.
Hmm.
Um, because they say like if you buy anything at 14%, you're like paying double for it at that point. So at 12%, you're almost doubling your money that you're investing type of thing.
Yeah.
Um, which I don't never understood how 14 equals to almost half in these situations, but I also feel that's how they fuck you out of money too. Because the math ain't mathin' when it comes to math. How's 14 double? Explain that. So anyway, um, it's that kind of thing. So he starts taking money and investing, and they start showing you a list of the investors in the movie and how much they're investing and how much he's making. And it's like he's pulling down good money. Like
Yeah,
he
a
really
lot of
is.
money.
And the weird thing is, he's not necessarily spending it on himself. He's not going out buying fancy cars or a bigger house or anything like that. He's actually, in a weird way, kind of doing a nice thing, but it's still a wrong thing. He's taking the money and paying out his band members to pay them a livable wage. And then he is getting a little too showy in the sense of like he's offering to pay people's bills and he's offering to pay
Hmm.
people's medical expenses and this and that. But, really it's one of those situations he's robbing Peter in order to pay Paul,
Yeah.
but now John has showed up and they need their money.
Yeah, and they want their money.
Yeah. And so that's what starts happening. And the truth is the way people discover it is the weirdest thing ever. Like it really is. And I have to say this. He really, a part of his downfall isn't just the way they discover it. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what part of his downfall is because I think it's a it's a comedy. It's a dark comedy,
Hmm.
but there's a tragedy about it. There's a very Greek tragic thing about it. His downfall is a woman, much like in all Greek tragedies. It's his wife. Like he's always doing the utmost for his wife. And that's really, and I don't know, Roxy, tell me if you disagree with me, because you probably do. But it really is the wife who kind of causes his downfall, in a way. I mean, do you agree
No,
with it?
he
Yeah,
caused his own downfall.
she did it.
No,
I mean, first
no.
off, yes, he shouldn't have been doing what he was doing, but in reality, had she not have been like, I want to run for Miss
It
Pennsylvania.
doesn't matter. She could have ran and he could have let her lose, so then she would have gotten her reality check and they could have found something else for her to do. But
Maybe,
no, he wanted to
maybe.
be Mr. Superman and go save the day. So no, she absolutely, it's not her fault.
So he does
It's
it for
his
her.
downfall.
He does it for, she did it. She does it
No.
for her. Because I'm thinking to myself, well, Roxy is watching this at her house. I'm like, I know Roxy's sitting there like saying, God, I wish I had a man who did this bullshit for me. Like that man literally went to prison for, but hey, okay. All right, so I'll get off.
No, he did not go to prison for her. Don't
Well,
get me
no, he
started
was
again.
convicted rightfully, though. What happens is his wife is kind of having a midlife crisis, much like a lot of us do. And uh, and it comes after he gets nominated for a Grammy for his polka album, which, first off, I've never heard of a Grammy for a polka album, but
Me neither. I didn't know that they have a category for that. I mean, maybe
I,
they do
I
have a
didn't know that either. It's
category.
like, do the Grammys have a polka category? When did this happen? But then he starts getting all this attention, and it's kind of like not that it's rubbing her the wrong way, but it's kind of, you're not who you are. You're Mrs.
Hmm.
Jan Lewan. You're his wife. And so she starts having this bit of a breakdown in identity crisis, and so she decides that she wants to run for Miss Pennsylvania. And the reason she decides that she wants to do that is because she had won like a high school pageant like for junior Miss Hazleton. And everyone thinks she's nuts for doing this.
Yeah.
And so she goes off to do it, but then Jan is spending a lot of money. Like he's buying her like the custom-made bikini stuff that they need, paying for trainers, dancers, dancing coaches,
The
all that other stuff.
buses.
Yeah. And then at an event, he says that I'm going to rent 5 buses to bring y'all down to the Miss Pennsylvania pageant so we can root on Marla, which is the name of his wife. And then he gets these custom made jackets. But here's the fucked up thing. Here's where, I mean, all those things are pretty fucked up in itself. But what causes his downfall is he goes and bribes one of the judges,
Hmm.
which gets him on the radar that there's something going on. So all this negative publicity. is coming towards him. And
Hmm.
then because he's associated with this scandal of bribing a judge, because his wife does win, but she wins because of the bribe.
Hmm.
What ends up happening is that everyone's demanding their money back because he's caught up in some shady business.
In a scandal.
Yeah, so then that's when the problems start kicking in. He's not returning the calls, he's not returning the money. So then they start calling the IRS. The IRS
Hmm.
comes down for a second time to investigate him. And then it just kind of spirals out of control there. But I think one of the best things that just blew my mind, because, all this stuff is happening, all these sequences of events are happening. The thing that sent me for a loop was the European vacation package, the Pope
The Pope
Eurovision. It's like
package.
the Pope
The Pope
European
package.
vacation package, where he's taking people who want to do these European vacations, and they're going to visit all the capitals of Europe. And at the end, they're going to go to the Vatican, and they're going to have a private audience with the Pope. And at the time, it was Pope John Paul II, and he shows up, and he doesn't know what to do because he doesn't have any kind of confirmation from the Vatican that this will happen. So him and his boy there, Mickey Pizzazz, uh, throw a bunch of money into the briefcase. It was guesstimated from doing the research, because I previously had tried to get this man on the show to interview him, but it was guesstimated it may have been anywhere from 2 to 4 million dollars that he took with him to the Vatican to
Jeez.
try to secure a last minute audience. And here's the thing, he pulls it off.
He freaking did it.
I was
Did it.
like, oh my God. But, but in all honesty, I was thinking to myself, if I was Pope and someone says, hey, here's 4 million, I just want you to meet a bunch of people, I'm showing up. And
I'm
not only am I,
going to say, yeah.
I'm going to baptize everyone who's there who wants to be or not. You just gave me $4 million.
Oh my God. The part that cracked me up is when he's going down and blessing everybody, and he gets to Mickey Pizzazz, and he
Like,
doesn't even
ew,
touch him. He's like, and then does the sign of the cross over him because he's so sweaty.
Mickey is so nervous. He's sweating through his suit. And the Pope looks at him, just
He's like,
moves
he
on.
touches everybody else's head and blesses them, but he would not touch him. Just did the sign of the cross over him.
He looks so
Oh my
gross. And it was like, oh my God, this is so good. But the fact that he pulled it off was absolutely
I
mind blowing. Just mind blowing. Uh,
absolutely. I was like, what?
I was like, Jesus Christ, that's pretty, that's ballsy.
That is
And
big.
you talk
I was
about,
really, I was really thinking like those people were gonna be pissed, like it's
mhm,
about to go down, and then the Pope walks in. Like,
yeah,
what?
I mean, you talk about literally throwing a Hail Mary pass and it got completed.
No, yes.
I was floored when I saw that. And the truth is, I kind of knew a little bit about this going into it back in 2009. For those of you who don't know, a VCR tried to launch in 2009 um, with me and Carlo at the time. And what happened was we saw a documentary. It was not this movie, it was a documentary called The Man Who Would Be Polka King. And it was the most bizarre documentary I'd ever seen in my life because it's about Jan Lewan and all this stuff. And they're talking about how he would show up with briefcases of money to get an audience with the Pope. And the Pope would grant it because it was a ridiculous amount of money. But here's something people don't know. Even private people can get this audience with a Pope. But no joke, you can actually do coffee with the Pope for 5,000. So it's pretty reasonable, I think.
extra thousand, I can
Uh,
get you to have some coffee with
yeah,
him.
like, hey, how are you doing? That's great. Can I have a picture? Awesome. Yeah.
For
But
6,000, I can get you a picture with him.
you've a briefcase full of money and you show up. Like I said, if I was, I'd show up too, just to meet and greet
Yeah.
a few people. Hell yes. But it was the most bizarre thing. But here's the most bizarre thing. Jan ends up going to prison. Okay. The movie, both the documentary and the movie tell you this, right?
Mhm.
In the documentary, it's the way that they break it to you that had me in tears, like laughing. Because I actually had to pause the documentary and step out of the auditorium to laugh. It was so ridiculous. So in the documentary, this is called The Man Who Would Be Polka King. They're
Mhm.
interviewing people who he's worked with and all this other stuff. And no shit to break the news to the viewers that his throat got slit in prison, it was a clown. It was they they not his wife, not his kids. The one who breaks the news to you is one of the performing clowns. And here's the thing about it. She's actually in clown costume when she's giving you the news in the documentary that his throat was slit in prison. And I was like, the fuck
Stop.
just happened? I was like, no director in their right mind just
Oh
did
my God.
this. And yet, some director who's probably not in his right mind did this.
Oh my gosh.
And so I was dying because now here's the thing. So because we did try to get Jan to talk to us and he did talk to us briefly and we were setting up a date for him to do an interview with us. But his daughter didn't want him to do the interview and it's fine. It's fine. I'm
Hmm.
not bitter
Not at all.
much. Uh but
Hmm.
here's the thing. I called the clown because she's actually a performing clown and I talked to her and I was like, why did you break the news to the? And she was the sweetest lady ever. She's one of these people though that if you call her, she can talk to you for hours and you can't
Oh
get enough of
yeah.
it. So I was like, so why did they have you do it? She's like, I don't know. Even she was like, I thought that was so dumb. So, but she was the sweetest woman. I don't know if she's still around or not, but she was the sweetest woman who kind of told us about this and gave us more insight as to what happened. So the reason he got his throat slit wasn't so much because he, was in this cell with this weird guy. Really, in reality, Jan should have been placed in federal prison because he committed a federal crime. But the
Hmm.
state prosecutor was like, oh, we're going to make an example of this guy. So they put him in state prison. They
Ugh.
all thought that Homeboy was weird because, he's this polka guy who's here. And someone had made up a rumor that he was there because he was doing stuff to kids.
I knew that was what you were gonna say.
That's why he got his throat slit. Had
Mm.
nothing to do with anything. That someone had started a rumor, and that's how he ended up with his, throat getting cut open.
Wow.
Um, So that was the truth on that. I was like, wow, that was just a bizarre ride. But he lives, he doesn't die, he lives. He does his 5 years. He received 5 years for, all this horrible stuff. And then he gets out and he's back out there performing, right? Here's the difference between the movie and the documentary. The documentary actually talks to the people who he scammed. So like these sweet grandmas, grandpas, and just sitting there listening to the stuff they said, oh my God. Because when it came to, like, so how do you feel about Jan? One of them was like, well, they didn't cut deep enough. Another grandparent was like, they should have gone all the way around. They were like,
Jeez.
and I was like, they were really mad. But then I thought to myself, I get it. This man has, and I understand what's happening.
Yeah,
But he
I
took
get it too, but damn.
Yeah, they were pretty vicious. But the thing is, these are men and women who retired, right? And now they have to go get jobs in their 70s and 80s because he took all their money and they don't have a way to live without this. So I get it. He screwed them, but damn, they were vicious about it.
Was.
I encourage you, if you're gonna do this, watch the documentary because the documentary in itself is hysterical. And that came out in 2009. It's called The Man Who Would Be Polka King. Later on, Jack Black, I guess he gets wind of this or he saw it, and he produced and, of course, starred in The Polka King, which is just as equally bizarre and funny and just like I don't know how to explain it, but it's one of these things. It's hysterical and it's mind blowing because it's actually true. And I was like, holy shit. This man, this man.
I couldn't, yeah, that story has me just like, how did he manage to do all of
Oh
that?
my God. And you know, and I was like, well, I was telling Roxy earlier before the show started that, I mean, this man is clearly some type of brilliance or just stupid lucky. Uh, because there's no way
My
you
bet's on stupid lucky because
yeah, because I mean, in reality, there's no way in hell you could pull off. I mean, he pulls off a Ponzi scheme. I get it, but he gets nominated for a Grammy in a category that no one cares about. He is getting private audiences with the Pope. The Ponzi scheme it takes a little finesse, not a whole lot of finesse, but
just
it
a
takes some
little.
finesse to do it. And he gets caught up rigging a Miss America pageant. I mean, Pennsylvania pageant is stupid, but it's like, how did you get up there to do all this? You're not a completely dumb guy doing
No.
that, you know. You you got a little bit of smarts, but had he have used it in the right way, he probably could
Yeah.
have been pretty massive right now. I don't know, but apparently to this day he's still out there performing and doing his
And can we
thing.
talk about that polka rap?
Yes, Jan Lewan is doing polka rap.
Oh my gosh.
Oh God. So
No.
apparently when he was in prison, he had a music circle and they were creating music because he's a musician. They created they created a beat for him and a polka rap.
I cannot believe.
I was like, "Oh sweet baby Jesus." And I'm like, this this is so bizarre, just so bizarre. And I was telling Roxy, our new theme music should be polka.
No, that
No,
should not.
it shouldn't.
It should not. It should
Should
absolutely not
be a
be.
little bit of polka. No, but it was such insanity to watch this, and it's. I'm not saying they don't have huge names in this movie, but they do have some. Jack Black is the biggest name. Um, they do have other actors in there who are recognizable, but it was such a great movie. The fact that oh my God, and I don't know if this actually happened in real life or not, or they just threw it in for shits and giggles, but the affair that Mickey Pizzazz is having with Jan's mother-in-law, I was like,
I was like, wait a minute, hold on.
the fuck is going on? And when he comes clean and tells everyone, like the first thing is, it's not even the affair. It's like who he's having the affair with. It's like confesses to Jan about what he's
Like
been
I broke up
doing.
with her for her.
He,
Broke
conf-
up with her for you.
he
What?
confesses to Jan about it. First thing Jan he looks up is like, with Barbara? Really? And then he comes out in the hospital because there's an accident, and this did happen in real life. So there is an accident, and but the way they break it up, like Roxy was saying, yeah, I broke up with Barbara for you, and the daughter's like, what? What the hell's happening? because she's this really old lady, and Mickey's having this really weird affair with her at such classy places as the what was it?
The
The
Motor Lodge.
it was a motor it was some like log nut motor lodge or something
Something
weird
like
like
that,
that. And
yeah.
I was like, what the hell? It was so
With that really classy, sexy
lingerie,
90s she
yeah, that
had.
she was wearing just like that electric pink with a black mesh everywhere and
Yeah, leopard print down the front. I was like, ooh,
the
I like
fishnet
that.
stockings. I was like, oh
Where'd
my
she
God,
get that at? No.
like you.
Oh my
It
God.
was so fucking funny. This is a movie I'm gonna have to say, uh, I give it an A, definitely an A plus, because like I said, when I'm down, I watch this movie to pick me up. Um, And honestly, this is one of those rare movies that's on Netflix, and it's been on Netflix forever since 2017. It has not come down because Netflix removes
Yeah,
movies,
they
they bring
rotate.
them back like 20 years
Hmm.
later. This one has consistently been on Netflix, and it's a great movie. Definitely check it out. Roxy, how did you feel about it?
It was good. It was really interesting. The only reason it scores high with me is because it's a true story.
Hmm.
And so that just makes this unbelievable. Like I like that makes it like a B plus for me.
It was great. I'm going to say this. One of my favorite parts is where he goes to confession and he's like trying to confess what he's doing, and then the priest is like, "Are you talking about your investments?" He's like, why?" He's like, "My aunt has investments with you. She depends on that money." He's like,
He was like, I will work hard for her. And he runs.
he runs out the confessional, and I'm like, "Oh my
Oh my gosh,
It
so
was so,
funny.
it was so good. I loved it. I really love this movie. And I wish I could bring more justice to the description of it, but the truth is it's so weird and
Yeah.
the sequences of events are so bizarre. There's no way you can really explain it. Like, how do you explain, hey, the Pope premium package? I'm like, who, who has that? Like, where did that come from? And then like Jan Lewan, Polka King, Grammy nominations, like
Who?
those words should not be in the same sentence, but
Mm-mm.
they are, and it's the weirdest thing. It is definitely a must watch. I say it's a must watch. Roxy did give it a good grade, so that's
Yeah, I'd say it's a must watch. It's really good. It's entertaining. And again, the fact that it's a true story, like that's really
it's
what made me want to watch it. I was like, what?
yeah.
This happened?
And see, I've always known about this movie. I've never recommended this movie to be reviewed on the show because I never thought Roxy would like it. I was kind of, with most of my suggestions,
Yeah, normally I'm like, no, I
yeah,
guess.
it's like, no,
Since there's
that's
nothing else,
exactly
yeah.
what it is. Like, no.
No, that sounds awful. No thanks. But I'm a sucker for a true story or based on a true story. So
And if you no, and honestly, for you and for anyone else, if you want something, if you watch this and you really like it, I'm gonna suggest another thing that was just mind blowing. Also, Jack Black, true story based in Texas called Bernie, and that one is hysterical and mind blowing. Exact same principle as this one. Like, it's a true story. They're doing the over exaggerated acting type of thing with it. It
mm.
was just brilliant. So that one's called Bernie. It is a Jack Black film. Absolutely great. But this one is The Polka King. You gotta love it. Do yourself a favor. If you're bored on a Saturday, watch the documentary, The Man Who Would Be Polka King, then watch Polka King. And your mind is just gonna be like, "Phew, what the fuck is going on?" You may actually find the documentary funnier than the Jack Black movie because I was like, why the hell is this clown explaining this to us? Oh, it was so good. It was so good. But yeah, that was one of my favorites to actually watch. Um, And I'm glad Roxy likes it because that's not always the case when I
It's
suggest.
rare. It's very, very rare.
Yeah, we have to kind of like really compromise it. And by compromise it, is she's like, watch this, and then I'll go watch the movie, and that's what we're doing. It's very rare when it's my pick that gets out here.
But I have good picks.
Yeah, she does have good picks. We both failed though with Nosferatu. That was
Yeah, that was a bad call on both of
that
us.
was like, oh no, God, that's terrible. So yeah, definitely check it out. And if you do check it out, or maybe you're a fan of Polka King, or maybe you've gone to a Jan Lewan concert, hell,
Yeah. Ooh.
honestly, if that
Tell us
man,
what that was like.
I was like, if that man rolled through Houston, I would probably go check out that concert. I mean, just for the
Just
shits
for
and
she's and
giggles.
Kiki's.
Yeah, and just to listen to the polka rap live, I might jump on that. But let's say you've been to one of his concerts or you know a little bit more. Hey, maybe you're part of the scandal. I don't know. Email us to the VCR show at thevcrshow@gmail.com. Check out our socials, the VCR show, YouTube, the VCR show, and our website, which is never updated, thevcrshow.com. And if you want to hang out and start a polka band with Miss Roxy Pizzazz, you can do such by shooting up her social medias, which are
On Facebook at Roxy Perez Curvy Model, on Instagram at PopRocks428, on TikTok at the PopRocks. PopRocks is spelled POPROXX.
someone's kind of having a brain fart there.
Yeah, I did. I was like, wait.
Like, who am I? Roxy Pizzazz.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Oh, Roxy
Pizzazz.
Pizzazz on TikTok. Oh my goodness. But until next time, I'm Vara.
And I'm Roxy.
And you've been listening to VCR.
Bye.
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 Ziggy zaggy, ziggy zaggy. Oi, oi, oi.
I was like, oh
Uh,
God.
You have been listening to VCR, creative content by Richard Christopher Vara and Roxy Perez. Logo by Richard Christopher Vara with assistance from Annie Ramirez. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach us at thevcrshow@gmail.com or our social medias at Instagram and Twitter at The VCR Show. And you can also check out our content at thevcrshow.com. The show song is Addict by Nefex, instrumental, and you can find them on YouTube Music Library. Need some sweet treats for your next big event? Or maybe you just have a sweet tooth? Check out Skippity Cakes. That's Skippity Cakes, SKIPPITYCAKES.com. Check them out for all of your sweet treat needs, things such as cakes, cupcakes, and cake pops. Also, check them out for their varieties of face masks, t-shirts, and coffee mugs. Say hi to our friend Rosie.